NATO forces are on the move for Steadfast Defender 2024, the alliance's largest exercise in decades. NATO is launching its largest exercise since the Cold War, rehearsing how US troops could reinforce European allies in countries bordering Russia and on the alliance's eastern flank if a conflict were to flare up with a near-peer adversary. Some 90,000 troops are due to join the Steadfast Defender 2024 drills that will run through May, the alliance's top commander Chris Cavoli said on Thursday. More than 50 ships from aircraft carriers to destroyers will take part, as well as more than 80 fighter jets, helicopters and drones, and at least 1,100 combat vehicles, including 133 tanks and 533 infantry fighting vehicles, NATO said. Cavoli said the drills would rehearse NATO's execution of its regional plans, the first defense plans the alliance has drawn up in decades, detailing how it would respond to a Russian attack. NATO did not mention Russia by name in its announcement, but its top strategic document identifies Russia as the most significant and direct threat to NATO members' security. Steadfast Defender 2024 will demonstrate NATO's ability to rapidly deploy forces from North America and other parts of the alliance to reinforce the defense of Europe, NATO said. The reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario with a near-peer adversary, Cavoli told reporters in Brussels after a two-day meeting of national chiefs of defense. The last exercises of a similar size were Reforger during the Cold War in 1988 with 125,000 participants, and Trident Juncture in 2018 with 50,000 participants, according to NATO. The troops taking part in the exercises, which will involve simulations of getting personnel to Europe as well as exercises on the ground, will come from NATO countries and Sweden, which hopes to join the alliance soon. Allies signed off on the regional plans at their 2023 Vilnius summit, ending a long era in which NATO had seen no need for large-scale defense plans as Western countries fought smaller wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and felt certain post-Soviet Russia no longer posed an existential threat. Other major locations of the drills will be the Baltic states, which are seen as most at risk from a potential Russian attack, Germany, a hub for incoming reinforcements, and countries on the fringes of the alliance such as Norway and Romania. Steadfast Defender 2024 is a NATO exercise that will take place from the 22nd of January to the 31st of May 2024 throughout the transatlantic region. It will be used to practice the response to a hypothetical aggression by a power or adversary against a member country, activating Article 5, Alliance Case, of the North Atlantic Treaty. The exercise is part of the series of Steadfast Defender maneuvers. It is the largest NATO maneuver since the end of the Cold War. The total troop strength is of over 90,000 soldiers. The United Kingdom has announced that it will provide 20,000 personnel for maneuvers. 16,000 soldiers are announced by the British Army. Among them will be the 7th Light Mechanised Brigade Combat Team. The Royal Navy will provide 2,000 sailors, 15,000 Polish, 10,000 German, and 5,000 Dutch soldiers. The logistical challenge of moving soldiers and equipment is a vital part of the exercise, said Liana Fix, Fellow for Europe at the Council on Foreign Relations in Washington. Sweden, which hopes to join NATO in coming months, will also take part in the operation, the biggest NATO drill since the Reforger exercises of the 1980s. Hungary is the only NATO member yet to ratify Sweden's application. The exercises come ahead of the two-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. The conflict has descended into a war of attrition, with neither side seemingly able to make significant territorial gains. The exercises will show that NATO can conduct and sustain complex multi-domain operations over several months, across thousands of kilometers, from the high north to Central and Eastern Europe, and in any condition, the 31-nation alliance said. We do all of this to show we have the readiness, preparedness, and the forces in place to remove any room for miscalculation or misunderstanding in Moscow about our readiness to protect every inch of NATO territory. And as long as we do that, there will be no attack against NATO territory, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg told reporters in Brussels Tuesday. The logistical challenge of moving soldiers and equipment is a vital part of the exercise, said Liana Fix, Fellow for Europe at the Council on Foreign Relations in Washington. Taking place alongside is Exercise Joint Warrior, a training event into which the Joint Expeditionary Force, GF, NATO, and partner nations formations units and their staffs can participate and undertake collective training. Meanwhile, NATO's Rapid Response Forces, led this year by the United Kingdom, deployed to Poland as part of Exercise Brilliant Jump 24, which falls under Steadfast Defender. There, they will prepare themselves to repel a simulated adversary in a collective defense scenario. Steadfast Defender 2024 involves 90,000 forces from 31 allies and NATO partner Sweden, and is conducted across various NATO nations. During the second part of the Steadfast Defender exercise, a special focus will be on the deployment of NATO's Quick Reaction Force to Poland on the alliance's eastern flank.